Hi everybody, it's TVSpy This Week. I'm Kevin Eck.
Hey, Stephanie Siegel. This is the
Tech Show.
Tech Show.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the new broadcast standard coming out in the next few years.
Yep.
Very exciting stuff.
And drones.
Drones.
We're very excited I'm excited about drones. But first, our top three.
Nexstar replaced two GMs at former Media General
Right.
stations. The latest one was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
And this is interesting. We've talked about this. Kevin has written a lot about it. When Nexstar bought Media General, they acquired 71 stations.
Yes.
So we're seeing the trend of them replacing GMs in these stations,
Yes.
and you have a theory about this.
Well, yeah, Nexstar definitely has a very solid idea of how they want to run their stations, and it just seems like the Media General guys probably don't fit that. I mean, that's pretty common in business.
It is, and I think it was to be expected, right? When news went out about them acquiring Media General, I'm sure there were memos internally that we don't know about, about this potentially happening. But, you know, we always say, we're always sad about people losing their jobs. We don't like that, but at the same time, it's, you know, it comes with the territory.
It does, yeah, this is a business first and foremost. Top two story
number
kind
two.
of segues into this. Nexstar again.
So we know Nexstar in Buffalo, the Nexstar station in Buffalo, totally unrelated to the previous story. That GM is adding some jobs. We like this.
Yes, Dominic Mancuso spoke with the Buffalo News. The writer Alan Pergament, who does a great job up there in Buffalo covering that market. Dominic Mancuso is filling positions that were left empty by the former GM. But my favorite quote from Dominic to the Buffalo News was, "I was just surprised the producers' positions were left unfilled."
I know. Isn't that wild?
It is wild.
I don't know how that newsroom was surviving. Can you imagine?
I know. Can you imagine the relief that the people there felt when they read this and figured out that this guy was going to add positions?
Yeah, and you know, also something to think about too. There must have been some number one, relief in the newsroom. They're getting producers. They can probably operate again, but it also probably created, I don't know, I would like to hear from somebody in that newsroom. Maybe they can send a tip in. But I'd like to imagine that it has upped the morale there, right?
Oh, exactly. If you know you got help, if you know that the person in charge is helping, is
behind you, supporting you.
Yes,
absolutely.
It goes a long way.
And then the quality goes up there.
Yes, exactly. You're not producing all the newscasts.
Okay, so top three. You're going to take this because number three is
the ATSC 3.0.
Which sounds
sexy.
so scary, right? Just the scariest.
I've been skirting around this issue for about a year or so. I didn't want to report about it because I had no idea what it was about, and I didn't want to wade into those waters. But I figured I would do it because I'm an adult now.
Let's dive in. Yes, let's dive in.
Yes, ATSC 3.0 is a new standard. Apparently we're on ATSC 1.0, which we're going to skip the 2.
Okay, I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. So what ATSC 3.0 is going to do, it's going to improve video, it's going to allow 4K, it's going to improve audio, and it's going to allow for interactivity, which is going to...
You sound like a salesman.
I know. And what's it going to take to put you into ATSC 3.0?
I know. Da-da-da. You're doing a really great job of giving an overview here, but we wanted it from the source.
We did. So I called the source, and I talked to somebody at the ATSC. Let's hear what they had to say.
So ATSC 3.0 is kind of a techie term. You have to be in the industry to know that ATSC stands for Advanced Television Systems Committee. It actually is the follow-on to the National Television Standards Committee from way back in the 1950s. And they set the color television standard back in December 1953. So ATSC is the standards body that convenes all of the interested parties. It's the broadcasters, it's the folks who make television products, it's the people who make all the broadcast equipment in between. And for the last 2.5 years, they've been working very hard and very speedily, actually, to bring about a leapfrog from ATSC 1.0 all the way to ATSC 3.0. What that means is a connection between what broadcasters can do over the air and what's happened with the internet. It will be the world's first internet protocol broadcast system. So a broadcaster will be able to transmit IP signals, and a local receiver will be able to pick those up and actually merge the content with what we can pull from the internet. And for broadcasters, it also means the ability to greatly enhance the signal quality. Could mean 4K, ultra high definition broadcasts finally being available, not just from online sources or from advanced Blu-ray, but also from over the air. But also the merger of over the air with internet protocol is a big piece of this. I actually want to talk about another benefit that's in the long list but doesn't get a lot of airtime, and that is advanced emergency alerting. So today, broadcasters use the EAS, the Emergency Alert System. Moving to ATSC 3.0 means the ability to have advanced emergency alerts. Now I can geo-target by a particular area. We could have an Amber Alert that has the picture of the child, as well as perhaps a picture of a license plate, maybe even video, if there is video of a child being abducted. And the ability to target in the event of a tornado or a hurricane. Just you could transmit maps, you could have live video reports, you could have all kinds of things that today you can do that in a rudimentary way, but in a very linear way.
This is a huge step.
It is a huge step. And of course, there are some other benefits to ATSC 3.0. Amit mentioned the mixture of over-the-air with internet protocol. So now we see something coming called hybrid TV, where as you, the viewer, you don't really care where it comes from, but there's a rich amount of information that you can use as a viewer. For the broadcaster, there's a couple of other benefits that I think are significant. One of them is addressable advertising. Let's say I'm a young parent and I'm going to see a lot of diaper commercials, right? But a grandparent is going to want to see Cadillac commercials and not the diaper commercials. So that's the sort of thing with addressable advertising, which is common today and is used by the cable industry. So a logical question might be, how are we going to get there?
Yeah, and when?
What broadcasters are looking for is, first of all, permission to do this over the air from the FCC. And they have requested that from the commission, which is studying the question. But they've said it should be voluntary. We shouldn't make television manufacturers build this electronics into the set. It ought to be something that is voluntary. And we are starting to see the very first sets incorporating ATSC 3.0 technology. The first integrated models were demonstrated by LG at the Consumer Electronics Show back in January, and they're really aiming for one big event, and that is in 2018, the Korean Winter Olympics is happening. The Korean electronics industry with Samsung and LG is very big, and so the Koreans are adopting ATSC 3.0, but they're only focused on 4K. So that will be their focus, and the very first sets will be sold in Korea that have both ATSC 1.0 and ATSC 3.0 functionality. Obviously, it's not a long jump to get from there to where we're going to begin transmitting in 4K, transmitting perhaps in 4K, but certainly in ATSC 3.0, probably in 2019, and see the first sets that have that capability at about that same time.
Do local stations have to do anything to meet this standard? Are they going to have to invest?
Yeah, they will have to invest, and actually they're already going to have to make some investments. As you may know, there's a big spectrum auction that's been underway for some time. It's about to conclude, and the FCC is now looking at all of their charts and sheets, and they're going to move channels to compact things together. So stations that have to make investments to change, the government will pay for that change because the spectrum is being freed up to be sold to wireless folks. It's possible that in that transition, if you're already going to have to move your antenna or change your power or get a new transmitter, then why not make the investment at the same time so that your studio, your new studio, also has the ability to do 4K, to do HDR, etc. So I think there is some overlap there that makes sense. But it does require, it depends on the station. You know, some stations are well equipped for this, others are not. It could be as little as $100,000 for a station to make the upgrade, which is certainly a lot less than going originally from analog to digital. And the hope is that stations will be able to incorporate this into their capital planning just like they do anything.
Okay, our interview segment, and guess what we're talking about because of
Drones.
techie segment, drones. Kevin's been saying that all morning.
I'm excited.
We've been giggling about it. No, but seriously.
Seriously, you know who's really excited about drones?
I know the answer to this.
Sinclair is really
Yes.
excited about drones.
They have a robust program.
I do. I love the word robust.
I love the word robust, and it will get larger as 2017 goes on.
Yep.
So we talked to the head drone pilot, head of the program, Jeff Rose, and here he talks about drones. Okay, everyone, I'm very excited about this tech episode, and today I'm talking to Jeff Rose, Sinclair's UAS chief pilot. Basically, he oversees the station group's drone program. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
First of all, you're in a room, looks like a classroom. Tell me where you are and what you're doing.
I'm in lovely Blacksburg, Virginia. We have a beautiful day here. Virginia Tech University is one of 6 FAA designated test sites, and it's the location we choose to train all of our drone pilots. So we're here for a 3-day program where the guys are right now in the middle of 8 hours of classwork and then 2 days of flying hands-on in the field.
Wow. And where are the guys from that you're working with? Which stations from what part of the country?
We have, California, in the Carolinas. Mm-hmm. We have stations all across the country. Right. So the guys here from all the way up to Rochester.
Since you've come into this position and started rolling out this program at St. Clair, how has the drone program changed the way shooters are, videographers are working in newsrooms, and how has it changed the video that viewers are seeing?
Well, first of all, I'll say the viewers love drone video.
Do they?
We can't put enough of it on TV. We know this specifically because if we put it on our websites, we can just track the numbers and they're off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
But it just gives us a new perspective. Whether we're covering a story about obviously the weather stories, the floods, the hurricanes, that kind of thing, and a road is washed out, mm-hmm. and there's a barricade on both sides, and the police are saying, don't get in your car and try to cross the road. Well, we're back beyond that barricade, launch a drone, go down there and show the washout, and people at home see this live. And then they don't get in their car because they realize it's that bad, and we've done everybody a good service.
Talk about the drone program with St. Clair Broadcasting. So far, you've rolled out how many newsrooms, and what is the goal for the end of 2017?
So we currently have 19 TV stations, newsrooms operating with trained pilots, fully equipped and gathering news. We have 10 more pilots here, which is 5 mm-hmm. more stations. We'll do 5 stations every 2 months.
Okay.
By the end of the year, we'll have 45 stations.
What have the challenges been?
Well, I guess the number one challenge is the Part 107, which we operate under. The FAA does not allow flights over people. And they leave that as a broad rule, but what they're saying is fly in a safe manner and don't cause any risk to anyone on the ground. So that's obviously a challenge. You can't cover a protest or a riot or that kind of thing. But we find great ways to cover many stories. It's very simple to say that we're going to be over a building, right, or over a wooded area, or over a parking lot or something where there aren't people, and we're looking horizontally at an event and we see great pictures of whatever's going on.
Will drones replace helicopters?
Drones are already replacing helicopters in many ways. I mean, they're a fraction of the price, for one thing. Right. But beyond that, which is the obvious, drones get better pictures than helicopters. Right. If you think of a helicopter at 1,500 feet looking down at something, it's like a satellite view looking straight down. A drone has a more intimate view. It's 50 feet is where we like to be.
How much money is it taking to put this into effect? I mean, is it worth it? I don't know if you can answer that, but I'm curious.
Yeah, our drone program is quite worth it. Not only are our viewers happy with it, our sponsors are happy with it. So right. Like our sports and weather sponsored, our drone video sponsored, and compared to the cost of a helicopter or other things, right. It's very cost effective. And more importantly, viewers are just excited about seeing a new perspective of news.
So we're coming to the end of the show,
yes.
But you have some Real Media Group news?
Yeah, well, first we hope you like the tech episode.
Yes,
we were really
drones.
Excited about it.
Who doesn't love drones?
Yes, Real Media Group news. This week's roundtable for our members is with Susan Geary. Do you remember Susan?
Yes, the resume lady.
First-rate resumes. Yeah. We know graduation is sort of near. She's going to be breaking down broadcast resumes, showing you what you need to have on your resumes, all live via Skype. Email me, Stephanie@realmediagroup.com if you want to get in on that.
Great.
Other than that, we're going to leave you some drone video.
And that is it for this week's show.
That is it. Bye.